Self and generation yet unborn. Today, I'm going to be starting on a series that deals with the vestiges of wickedness. And one thing that I always tell people that will destroy you in 2025 if you don't take care is the vestiges of wickedness. And it's very important because, you see, a lot of the times we hope and we want things to work well in our lives. But we also deal with the vestiges of wickedness that dominates all of our thought process. By the way, we thank God we had close to 500 people, or even more, at the outreach yesterday at the Oseni Center, where we gave gifts, we gave toys for kids, we gave Christmas clothes, we gave food, we gave every other thing, and empowerment to people. And what I was saying about the vestiges of wickedness is that there are so many things that wickedness will blind your eyes from seeing. At first, wickedness will blind your eyes from seeing the goodness in people. Wickedness will blind your eyes from seeing the goodness in people. And if wickedness blinds your eye from seeing the goodness in people, then there is no way possible, one, you'll be able to receive help from such people. Because there are some people you will never ask for anything because you're wicked and you don't see them in a good light. And you've told yourself they will never amount to anything in your life. So the truth is, once you have that wicked mindset towards people, then you will never see anything great. There are a lot of you, because of your wicked mindset, you don't know, maybe your blessing is in the hands of an Igbo man, or an Hausa man, or a Yoruba man. But because of your divisive mindset based on wickedness that you have allowed to fester over the years, you will never see good in anybody. Just like Kemi Badenoch said something recently, that the people from the north are tribal enemies. As far as I'm concerned, that woman does not know what she's talking. No tribe in Nigeria is anybody's tribal enemies. And I think somebody should warn that lady before she keeps peddling that divisiveness every time, because it's not going to do anybody well. It's not going to do anybody any good.
School of the Spirit Global Partner.
And it has to be said, that divisive spirit does not make society better. So when you have a wicked mindset, I mean, how can somebody claim that one particular group are their tribal enemies? So when you have a divisive person with a wicked mindset, you will never see good, because you will never be able to mix up. You will never be able to mix up. You see, there's one analogy that says Nigerians in diaspora that mixes up with other groups like Asians, European, Pakistani, and all of that. They are more successful than Nigerians that are always tunnel vision within their own group alone. So the truth has to be said. Very tunnel vision. And that divisiveness is a big problem that destroys people. And that's just it. So once you have that wicked mindset, nothing good can ever come out of your life. You see people in a certain way and in a certain light, and there's nothing good or beneficial that can ever come out of your mindset towards them. And you lose a lot of opportunities. You lose a lot of opportunities. You see people in a light of, oh, nothing good can ever come out. I don't think I should ever ask this person anything. And you lose a lot of opportunities. The truth is, if you don't open your eyes to see beyond your innate wickedness, your life will never move further. When you see people doing all sorts, peddling all sorts of lies and rumors, and divisiveness, then you see that they can never move further because of their own selfish gain. They'll never, ever be able to move further. So it's a mindset. And as you're going into the new year, if you don't shun these wicked mindsets, you're always dividing across the line. You're not in a social group and everything. Your life will not move further. Your blessing might be in the hands of an Hausa man. Your blessing might be in the hands of an Ibibio man. Your blessing might be in the hands of an Urubo man. So the truth has to be said. It is that divisive nature that destroys the essence of your being and your opportunity quotient in life. So when you look and say, oh, I can only help people from a very certain group. Never. My outreaches, we partner with another foundation. We're helping people in the north. We're helping people in the south. We also did a street outreach at some point, in other parts of the country. As long as how you can revolutionize your life by having an open mind towards development and representing people. See, the truth is, will people hurt you in life? Yes. Because not everybody is sane. Not everybody is the same. There are some people, they have foundational family problems. And that's why in life, it's not everybody you respond to. Some people have foundational family problems and inclinations that is debilitating against their past. And that's why they peddle divisions. Some people, they were never loved in their childhood. Their parents never loved them. They never knew their father. They stayed with people around. There's a gulf in their life. They never saw what affection is. They became very recalcitrant at an early age. And because of these numerous childhood traumas, they never healed of them. And these are people that take a center stage today to be able to peddle any form of division. So there are a lot of people that they need to deal with their past, their childhood. Their childhood was destroyed. Their childhood was devoid of acceptance. There was lack in there. So it started to affect their behavioral pattern. In fact, they need healing. And that's why you see they are vile and vindictive and wicked towards other people. Other people that had a glorious childhood, other people that had a happy childhood, other people that have liberty in their minds. So for them, their mindset was always constricted. And you see it in their day-to-day activities. See, no matter the height they attain in life, their childhood will still be their undoing. The truth is, childhood never ends. It's still their greatest problem they need to have therapy and heal from. And it's there. It stares at them. So when people that have childhood trauma to deal with have divisiveness in their heart and they peddle wickedness, then definitely they cannot grow. And that's why when you look at their lives as a particular position, and you might be watching me, you have that childhood trauma. And it's what is peddling the hate in you, the division, the divisiveness. So you start to project your own mindset because you're not a happy person. You think everybody else will not be happy. You think everybody else is devoid of happiness. You think everybody else should not have a life of happiness and goodwill. So you start to get jealous. Jealousy is a trait that results as a result of inadequacies of some people when they grow up. They never felt enough. They never felt up to it. So they are sick. And you see, the sickest people are the loudest people. So they now take this and project it on others. Most of the people in the political class can have this kind of childhood, might have this kind of childhood. And so when they are now projecting their inadequacies in their childhood, that has led to decadent behavioral as a result of an unloved childhood, a repressive childhood, then there's nothing. I mean, you don't expect people that don't even speak to their brothers You know, there are a lot of people that don't even speak to their brothers. Their brothers got married. They didn't even have money to give their brother when he was getting married. There, the brothers are not even in good terms. The family structure is different. There was no coherence. The mother probably had a child for one person, and they had another child for another person. So there's no coherence. So there is a fight for identity. There is a longing for identity that is now whipped around the expression of wickedness. But you see, except these people heal their hearts, they will never see the glory of God. They'll never see the glory. Their minds are just so myopic. And they're in pain. And they're in pain. And the pain is palpable. And they live with the pain every year. They live with the pain and repression. How do you know that their life is pained? They constantly exude wickedness and vile rhetoric. They are always at the vanguard of evil. They are not trustworthy. They are unstable. They don't have convictions. They don't have convictions. They are unstable. They're like the rudder of a ship. They're here today, they are there tomorrow. You can't take their words seriously. But they perpetrate evil. And you see, the easiest mind for them to target are the minds of people too that have been broken. So there's a lot of brokenness. And this brokenness shows a behavioral pattern. They'll never treat a woman right. They'll never treat a woman right. They'll break hearts, because they don't have this, they don't understand the sanctity of what is called love. They don't have the sanctity of what is called love. They don't respect the bond of love. And they're timid, they're afraid. These people live in fear. Despite the fact that they try to show braggadocious in public, they live in so much fear. They're always afraid, they're always watching their back. Their mind is not at rest because they fail to realize that it is perfect love that casteth out fear. It is perfect love that casteth out fear. So when there is no love in their lives, then there's a lot of fear. So a lot of these people try to mask, but they harbor a lot of wickedness in them. And if you're that kind of person, as you're going into the new year, you might not achieve what God has left for you. Because if you don't let go of all this wickedness, you will not live a productive life. It will be a cyclical life of no results. Cyclical life of no results. And it's going to be a lot of pain. It's going to be a lot of pain. It's going to be a lot of pain. That's just it. So when we are constantly looking at our lives and looking at the wickedness that have held us, then the goodwill of God can never come out of our lives. And because God has a lot of goodwill for us, He has a lot of abundance. Exceedingly abundantly, more than you can ever think or imagine. There's so much grace with God. And there's so much healing with God, but our wickedness shuts us out. Our background is still putting our back to the ground. The basic people we ought to have a relationship with, we didn't even have a relationship with them. We've become megalomaniac. We've become pained people. We've become hurt people. And when we do not shun wickedness, when we do not shun evil, then it denies and it robs us of what God is going to do in our life. Because see, if you have this mindset and you go into the new year with it, then there is no amount of postulation. It will be a diminishing factor in your life. It will be a diminishing factor. You'll be sick. You'll always be watching your back. You'll always be in pain and penury. Some of you harbored the wickedness because you came from a polygamous family. So you never got attention. You needed that attention so much, you never got attention. And that's why I say, please, the childhood of your children matters. Show them all the love. It matters because it builds something in their heads. Some of you might even have come from rich homes, but you never got the needed attention and love. And you see, we forget to love. Wealth is not love. Because somebody comes from a wealthy family does not mean they were loved. There are people that came from a very wealthy family, but they feel very unloved. So money is not love. And a parent showing the child love is not about saying, oh, take 50,000 to go buy anything you want to buy. No. What the child might just need at that point in time is, as the dad, driving the child to that place and just watching the child eat ice cream. That might be the greatest thing the child needs at that point in time. It might just be playing in the park with that child. It might just be faffing around like kissing the child in the forehead and saying, I love you so much and I affirm you. That might just have been what the child needs. But when the child doesn't get it, and if you do not deal with your hitherto issues, the issues from your past, your daddy issues, and you think you might fix it in marriage, most times it might not be the case because you might find somebody too that might not be able to deal with those issues for you. They too might have daddy issues. So just imagine two people that get married that have both daddy issues, then it's a magnification of daddy issues. But you can start the process of healing your heart today by opening your heart. It's a burden. You've been carrying it so much. You know, at the outreach center we did the Wulu yesterday, there was a song we sang. And it's a very old song. Ṣùgbọ́n kan bẹ́ẹ̀ láyé yìí, èmi ò fẹ́ mọ́ látòní lọ, ọba tó wo ṣùgbọ́n Jábésì, wo ṣùgbọ́n ayé mi, wo ṣùgbọ́n. So it's a very old gospel Yoruba song. And you see, when you look at it, there's always that ṣùgbọ́n, there's always that but in your life that might have led you to having a mindset and a heart of wickedness. Just like the case of Jabez. So the song was pretty much singing about the case of Jabez. And that's why I was saying, oh, but so the God that did it for Jabez can also do it for you. But it's about you saying, I'm ready to be free. I don't want to carry this burden any longer. A lot of us have those burdens. A lot of you watching me cannot remarry because of those burdens, because the first person that hurt you still dominates a greater part of your life. But if you still carry that burden, how are you going to trust again? How are you going to be able to love again? How are you really going to be able to do great things again? Some of you might have been burnt in business. Oh, doing business the first time, it didn't pull out your way. Trust me, you need to keep fighting. I've done a lot. I once co-founded an e-commerce company. It never worked. You learn lessons and you move on, but a lot of people will say, oh, I will never touch it again. So there's a gulf that is bringing a very big pertinent pain. And that pain is dictating how we live, how we move, how we do everything. And if you don't look deep to be able to fix that pain, then nothing will happen in your life. And as you're going into the new year, see, no matter the prayer you pray across overnight, if your mentality is warped and it still filled with evil, then there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. If your mentality is still filled with hate, then there's nothing you can do. There's nothing. There's nothing. If your mentality is still filled with vengeance, then there's nothing. You know what Rumi said? Rumi said, if you want to seek vengeance, you have to dig 2 graves, because you too will fall into the grave. You're going to fall into the grave. So if you want to seek vengeance and you want to go out fighting hard and bidding hard, you're going to fall into the grave too. So you need to ease your mind. Yeah, daddy wasn't there as a child. But daddy is gone now. It's not the world. There's still a lot of peace and love in the world. You know, I remember when my father died 2 years ago. And because I love my father so much, I mean, I was greatly loved. And I tell people the bulk of the confidence I have in everything was being loved by a highly very successful man, engineer Rufai Oseni, who had taught me community service. And the bulk of the things I do is based on community service. My father was the counselor of Odrobulu in the 90s. He also worked a lot in the local government area, lots of community work with the OCDC. Did a lot of community development, helped give people scholarships and all of that. So I pretty much learned service from him. And he was my best friend. And when he passed in 2022, my bone of contention is, how am I going to find love, find something like a father figure? But today, I found that in a lot of friends, that are elderly people that are the age of my father, but I've also found that in their friendship. I've got friends in their 90s, I've got friends in their 80s, 87, 88, that sometimes I just travel to go meet them and we sit down and we have a good time talking about life. And you will always find that love again. So that's why you shouldn't allow wickedness fill that void, because even if you didn't have it growing up, there's always that capacity to find in other people. It might not be like your father. You might want it to be your biological father. But if it doesn't come, but it's your tenacity to be able to open your heart, to be able to find that love again. So you might find it. You might find it in a relationship, you might not find it in relationships. The most important thing is, as long as you're loved. I think we live in a society where people say, oh, you must settle that, you must get married. But the most important thing is, the essence of life is love. Because a lot of people, in the bit of going with society, you must settle that, they get into loveless marriages and they keep keeping up appearances. I did share life issues on radio for about 3 to 5 years. And I had a lot of stories of how people live in fake marriages. I just appearances. There are a lot of people that never let you come to their house because they know the marriage is not good. And these are your marriage outside. It's not by what people preach. It's what is practical in their own personal life. A lot of people preach a lot of hypocrisy. It's not because a man posts the picture of his wife and say, oh, she's the jewel in my, she's my jewel in Savannah or something. No. And you cannot see the heart. And that's why I say social media can be very delusional. You don't know what people are going through. A lot of people are just lying, keeping up appearances. They are hurting inside. They're breaking up inside. They're burning up inside. There are a lot of marriages today that people are just showing like they're married, but they've been divorced long ago. And you wouldn't know. So it has to be said. You need to heal your heart of this wickedness. Because in the end, you'll be the biggest loser. See, I have seen every script possible in history. I have seen every possible script in history. Hitler wrote Mein Kampf. Nascent pain inside of him. The sense to be heard and recognition. Wanted to build a pure race, critical race. I mean, as a critical race theory, no, that was not the case then, but a lot of race theory, came into his head, put Jewish people up in concentration camps. In the end, it was still gone. It was still failed in the end. He still failed. Just be slow, but we still come around. Come around. So why now have that heart of evil? Some of you, it's a spirit of unforgiveness. A lot of you always want to prove a point to who? To your 6-year-old self that had a father. That's who you want to prove a point to. Leave that 6-year-old body. Everything you do now You might be 70 years of age, but everything you do now, you're still trying to appease that child in you. I never had it all. Quit it. Let that have pain. You don't need that pain as you go into the new year because it controls everything you do. What you need is healing in your heart. What you need is reconciliation in your heart. What you need is grace in your heart. The world is not against you. In fact, I tell people, like Rumi will say, live life like everything in your favor. That's how I live my life. If you do me bad, it's rigged in my favor. If you do me good, it's rigged in my favor. Everything working together for me. That's my mentality. If you do me bad, it's rigged in my favor. If you do me good, it's rigged in my favor. But I bet you have a right to do me good. You know why? Because if you do me good, you get the reward of the good. If you do me bad, you get the reward of the bad you do to me. And for me, that's why I try as much as possible to do good. It's so puerile to sit down and conceive evil and say towards somebody, never. Don't do it. It's not worth it. Speak your mind truthfully. A lot of people that don't agree with you, when you speak your mind truthfully, they say, oh no, because it doesn't favor them politically. But the truth is, they should go and check it. Are there lies in the things we say? Never. With malice to none and charity to all. Mine is to build a nation that is strong. With malice to none. It's not about malice. Charity to all. I tell you, when President a tax reform bill, I supported it because I knew the bill. I commended Jojo. It's a center. It's a good one. Does it stop the fact that President Tinubu has ruined the economy? No, because he has ruined the economy. Took many decisions in pan out well. Because some people have favored, I will have favored a gradualist approach to most of this reform. Throwing people in the deep end. Then he's also not done anything as regards accountability. People are suffering. You're going to buy a new jet. People are suffering. You're building your new vice presidential house, over 20 billion. There are many things that he says that are not correct. Like, oh, we've cleared ways and means. No, it was just securitized. Because if securitized doesn't mean you've cleared it. So, I know we're in a very funny ecosystem where when you say things, people, it doesn't favor people. They shout, they have a whimper. It doesn't change me from speaking the truth at all times. And I'll say it the way it is. If you have a higher body of fact, challenge me. That's all. So like I talked about the Port Harcourt refinery, a lot of people will say, oh, you said it's not working. No, what I said is, we're blending because the plant is not completed. And all the things I said, the NNPC came out to repeat it. There's no converter there. There's a last converter. So you can't say you have completed the job when there's no converter unit there. If you tell me, if the NNPC tells me, oh, we've installed the converter unit there, you don't need to blend C5 and the naphtha that comes out from the distillate unit, all well and good. For me, it's for God and for country. For God, for country, for development. That's my parameter. But mine only is, you cannot say, oh, you have completed a refinery when there's one unit still left not done. And that's the converter unit. And that's what I said. And that day, and in fact, we had been part of those, and other people had reported it, that they were just cracking C5 and with naphtha. And the NNPC came out to confirm it. That's just it. But people will say, oh, yeah. No. Take clutter off your mind. Free your mind. And the world is beautiful. The world is beautiful. It's a wonderful world. The most important greatness and glory and joy in life is a heart that is free. A heart that loves. Just imagine you're in a relationship with a woman. You are not cheating. Your mind is free. You're not doing anything. So your phone is not something that they don't want them to check. But when you know that there's some colorful somewhere and everything, you've not been truthful. So try as much as possible to be open. As much as possible. as much as possible, because that's what will bring the greatness of God. See, when good things happen to people around me, I get excited. I don't get jealous. You know why? Because I know God is in the business of doing good. And that's why my passion is to create more platforms. Today we've created VOP. By the grace of God, I want to create more radio platforms. I want to reach the very, very, very nook and cranny of every area, of every society. Because I feel radio is a tool. That's my passion. And other forms of media. So my target across the next year is, as much as possible, get partnerships, create about 10, 15 local in different radio markets. We've created one already in Lagos. By the grace of God, working on creating many other ones. Created another one in Abuja, VOP Abuja. Co-founded by me. My joy at the end of every month is VOP is meeting its obligation to its members of staff. That's the joy. So let's spread the goodness in the world. VO News, newspaper outlet, we created that one. We're trying our best. Nobody's going to get there. When you say you get there, is when you're dead, as far as I'm concerned. You keep working at something. For me, the grace of life is the passion to be able to keep creating. At the age of 90, I want to be thinking about my new big idea. I have a friend of mine. Guess what? He's 87. He's about to break ground on building an event center after he built a resort in Asaba. You should check his resort out. Nelson Mandela Gardens. I'm giving him free promotion. Nelson Mandela Garden, owned by Dr. Newton Jibono, the man that got to London with a car. Anytime you in the airport in Asaba, you land in there, go there. Lovely. He started building that resort at the age of 75. He's thinking of new ideas in his old age. At the age of 87, he's about to break ground on a conference center. And you love music. An 87-year-old man should be thinking he's retired, but he's building new stuff. He's building new stuff. A wicked mind cannot be doing that. A wicked mind will plotting of how to do evil. How can I bring this person down? But a good mind is creating. I pray every day. Substance. That's just it. We'll take a couple of calls. 0818 099 1991. 0818 099 1991. I'll take some calls. I'll take like 2, 3, 4 calls. If you call us up, I'll take like 2, 3, 4 calls. Then we have an interview that we're partnering with our friends at the Boiling Point. I'm also a member of the Boiling Point group, and they normally interview people. In fact, they had interviewed me too at a point. And this last week, we had an interview with Olusegun Obasanjo. It was conducted by a very good friend, Mr. Arojolu. Mr. Arojolu and I had run a radio station together, FUNAB Community Radio, a radio station of the Federal University of Agriculture at Belkuta. When it started, I came in to work with Mr. Arojolu on that, and we did work on that project. So we have worked together in the past. So he conducted the interview, and it's a great one. So we're going to play that interview, and you can just listen on the radio or still continue to stream on YouTube. Hello, how are you?
Fine, good morning, sir.
Bless you. How are you?
I must say that I'm blessed this morning.
Bless you so much.
I'm calling from the congratulations.
Bless you so much, my sister.
Yes, sir. Sir, I was talking about my child, and you gave me cellular contact.
Yeah. Have you called Benola?
Yes, I've spoken with them, but he said that they are not doing anything right now, that they only added me to their group. And the truth is that I'm speaking to you now. I and my child, we are finding it very difficult to feed. And she still uses diapers.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Okay.
Can you give out your account number? Let's see if well-meaning Nigerians can help you at least to pay some of the bills. Is your child that's got cerebral palsy, right?
Yes, she has part of it. She's mainly autistic.
Okay,
syndrome.
so she's mainly autistic.
She has done an open heart surgery. She has done a surgery before.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. 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 So give out your account number on air.
Okay, sir. Okay. 30.
Yeah.
77.
Yeah.
33.
Yeah.
79.
Yeah. What bank is that?
29. 79. 29. First bank, sir.
First Bank. Okay. Okay. It's all right, huh? Thank you so much. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Morning, sir. Bless you.
Bless you, sir.
Yeah.
How are you, sir?
Very well. Hey, my brother Manjem.
How are you? Good job done at Odobolu. I was so happy, so glad. More grace, more grace. I saw you the way you were singing, you know.
Yes, so with the people.
I said,
Bless
I'm going
you.
to give you a choir master now. So
Yes, so yes, so.
Bless you, sir. Thank you very much. I really appreciate your efforts. And I pray for more grace. I pray for long life, prosperity, breakthrough, divine support from God.
Amen.
And everything you desire, the Lord will perfect everything.
Amen. So when are you going to deliver that milk to that nursing mother? And let's talk about the adoption of that child, of the woman that was sentenced to life in prison, right?
Yes.
So what is the update on that?
Yes, to God be the glory. By next week, this week, Saturday, we are going to be there. Then we're going to give them the support we promised to give to the nursing mothers because, you know, like I said, when I interviewed nursing mothers some questions, I said, how about their feeding? He said they gave them 1 cup of curry for afternoon food. For their lunch in prison. So I said, okay, we're going to give them some support, then get some cartons of spaghetti and noodles for them so that they can be able to feed
Okay. Because we at the Oseni Center, we're also partnering with Icon of Hope. Please, can you call the account number again? So that anybody, please, what we're doing is we are partnering with Icon of Hope. We can't do it all as the Divisiveness Foundation and Oseni Center. So when we have people and partners, we can do it together. So can you call the account number again so that we can see what we can get for them? You know, as we go to do this outreach. Call the Icon of Hope Foundation account. I've put it online, but you know, call it again here.
Okay. Yeah. The account number is 00.
Yes.
61.
Yeah.
11.
Yeah.
28.
Yeah.
09.
Yeah.
00.
Yeah.
61.
Yeah.
11.
Yeah.
28.
Yeah.
09. Unity Bank PLC, Icon of Hope and Support Foundation.
Thank you so much, my brother. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
God
Thank
bless
you. Thank you. No wahala. All right. 0818-099-1991. 0818-099-1991. Hello, how are you?
Hello. Hi, good morning.
Great to have you, sir. What's your name?
Yeah, this is Miss MC Price.
Okay. Where are you calling from? Oh, good to have you. Yeah.
Rufai, I'm only blessed. It's family. You can stand like this.
Bless you.
You are so blessed. You are just a symbol of goodness. I love people like that, and I feel like this country, doctrine, still can have a lot of changes. Together, carry on.
Bless you.
And I'm looking right there. I will actually feel gratified. Bless you.
Bless you so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, how are you?
Good morning.
Hi, morning.
Dr. Oseni, this is Mrs. P. I listened to your presentation with rapt attention, and I truly enjoyed it, and it's very rich.
Bless
I
you,
do
ma.
want to make a contribution, may I?
Go ahead, ma. Bless you, ma.
Yeah. So, with reference to those people that, are unable to love, that just have hatred because they did not have love when they were growing up. I personally have also encountered somebody that this particular individual claims that he was loved by everybody, all and sundry, and yet he's full of hatred. So what I discerned after much investigation and observation was that this particular person was loved in how do I put it? Other people had to be maligned to show him love. And it was done all the time. So he became accustomed to the fact that it was to the detriment of others that he received love. And so as a result of that, that's his mantra. So that's another category of people. Those who claim it. I personally would say that is not true love, but let's just give it to him that, he was loved by these people all and sundry, but it's to the detriment of others. A particular situation was, he a number of times boasted that the entire school was, beaten for, wrong attitude and behavior, and his teacher hid him in the classroom store. Only him was the student that was not caned in the whole school. So what would you call that? It's not possible that he was the best saved, but he was to the detriment of others. So that's another thing I want to say, that those kind of people will always expect other people's heads to roll for them to, shine, and that is not attainable in the real life. Good job. I really appreciate all that you do.
Thank you so much. Bless you so much. The most important thing is healing, because also the fact that a lot of people have not been loved can also lead to a level of, narcissism, where they become, it's all about me in the end. But really, I tell people, life is not all about you. It will never be all about you. Yes, you might lead the way in some things, but life is transient. At some point, you'll be forgotten. I keep telling people, there's nothing to me, Rufai. I'll be forgotten in no time. I'll be forgotten in no time. That's just it. When I'm long gone, I'll be forgotten. The best people can have of your memory is maybe 50 years, people that knew you. But the mind will still forget. That's why Taisho Larry says something very important. It says, if you think you're indispensable, dip a stick in the bucket of water. The little hole will fall, people think about you. They'll forget you. Today you are the Lord of the manor. Tomorrow you are nothing. So are you going to say, because people are not hailing you any longer, that you should kill yourself, or you should try to be divisive, or you should try to be wicked? No. And that's why I tell people, praise is fickle. Today people praise you, tomorrow they say kill him. We Jebus will have a saying I normally say every time. What it means is, you say you don't have yourself to cater to, you think you have people, you'll be greatly disgraced, because it's not about you in the end. It's not about you in the end. You're just passing. And it's a privilege for God to count you worthy that you can even impact lives. It's a privilege. And that's why I say all the outreaches that I do, it's not about me. The reason why we even make them public is because we need accountability to a lot of people that support us. So we need to be able to show work done. It's not about me. If I wasn't available, God will still do what he wants to do. God gives you a chance to help somebody. If you're not available, he will get another person. Simple. I think there's an interview you need to watch, and that's with Baba Obasanjo. So on those on Instagram, you can go and connect to VOP 90.3 FM to continue with that interview on YouTube. And if you are in Lagos and its environs, you can just tune your radio to 90.3 on your radio dial. So we're on two platforms, on YouTube and on your radio dial. All right. And those that are on Instagram and Facebook will be ending the broadcast for you here. But thank you guys so much for joining us. God bless you. Thank God, take it away. I'd like to appreciate Thank God. He's being my man of the year, coordinating things at the back end. Please support Thank God and show him a lot of love. He's the one that make it easy for our voices to be heard. God bless you. I will thank God for your life. Thank you guys so much. I love you all. God bless you. And I pray as you go this weekend as well, which you go to make his face shine over you, give you favor in everything that concerns you in Jesus' name. Amen. So go to VOP 90.3 FM platform to continue with the programming. That's on YouTube. Just go to Voice of the People 90.3 FM on YouTube. Or if you're in a car, turn your radios now to 90.3 FM in Lagos. You'll be able to catch it. Thank you guys so much. Bless you.
Where I met people in West Africa, at Teshi in Ghana, who are in touch, not even in touch, we were trained together. We trained together with Ghanaian, Sierra Leonean, and Gambian students, or cadets as they were called, and then going abroad with all Commonwealth cadets, Commonwealth cadets from all over the world. I think that in itself a way of preparing or training and exposing with Ghanaian or leadership. Sierra Leone, the deployment, I was deployed in Germany, the British Army of the Rhine, as they call them, and then going abroad home. Not too long after I came back home, cadet from all who were deployed in the Congo in 1960. Giving on exposure, if I can put it that way. So, but my aunt, the senior sister of my mother, who named me Obiola, used to say that when I was born, she had a feeling that I would be a man of note. So that's why he named me Okikiola. Beyond that, I think my mother thought, I believe she miscounted when she missed her period and all that, but she believed that I overstayed in her womb. I never argued with her, but I don't believe I overstayed. So that's why they named me Olusegun. Because my father was already worried, and he had to go into becoming an Ifa and going to Ifa becoming it's not ordination, but I would say being brought into the Ifa oracle. So that's why I have an Ifa name, which I don't tell people. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. I know Titilayo is angling to ask a question, but you mentioned something. You mentioned your military training prepared you for leadership. That is striking a chord in me. You became head of state following the death of Muritala Mohammed, your very good friend. I don't know. Can you flash back to your days in the military? Whether, there are people who have said, well, they joined the military to go and do, they know that they specialize in the act of coup making. I'm not sure His Excellency would want to, lay claim to that. But I know people in the military and people who have been written about that there is in every coup that have taken place in Nigeria, they are there. I don't know. You are a major when your surrender. I mean, when you were a colonel Then you rose through the rank. Was there any time that you thought, it's going to be my turn one day? Bye-bye.
No, was unthought of, or was very foreign to the military when I was in the army. And that was why when the first coup took place, I was taken aback. Although the leader of the coup in Kaduna, Chukwumanzo, who was my very good friend, it was within 48 hours of my returning to Nigeria that he launched his coup. But as he himself told me later, my coming back 48 hours before the coup was the greatest problem he ever had. Should he tell me about the coup? If he did, and I said, oh, good idea, there's no place for me in the plan. But there was no place for me in plan. Then, if I said, oh, what nonsense are you up to? Now, it was too late to stop the coup. So he decided not to tell me. In fact, he deceived me by doing an exercise, and of course, we all know what exercise normally stand for in the military. And that was also when the investigation was carried out. And they found that I did not know anything about it. I was exculpated. Then the coup that you will say they informed me was the coup that removed President and removed General Gawan. And they informed me at midnight. When one of the and I said, look, we've planned it. I said, it cannot be stopped. They said, well, if it cannot be stopped, can you make it bloodless? And he said, that's what we planned it will be. But that was an hour before they launched the coup. They launched the coup at 1 a.m. They took 12 midnight.
Okay, I think that's landed.
Let's move that.
There are lots of signal there. Your Excellency, thank you very much. Have you landed, sir?
I've landed. You are asking me if, about coup. So that's all I about.
Thank you.
I was receiving a lot of tests. The coup that remains to remove General Gawan. I'm talking now as well, invited and those who bring the military and the nation out of your hand. So we have to take responsibility.
All right, thank you, Your Excellency. And while I was reading your bio, I read out that you are a March 5 born, and it's with great excitement to share the same birthday with you.
No, we are having too many interferences here.
Okay.
How can we?
Okay. We will address that.
Having a baby. How did that come into this type of program?
Okay. We will address it. Your Excellency, we will fix it. But can you hear us now, Baba?
Please move to microphone.
I think the signal is a bit stable. Can we fire on, sir? I think it's stable. Our engineers are working on it. Thank you, sir. Okay.
We all are finished on cool.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Apologies for the break in transmission. Your Excellency, while reading your bio, you're a March 5 born, and it's with great excitement to share a birthday, the same birthday with you. Let me place the mirror before you now. Where is Nigeria? What happened to Nigeria? And where is Nigeria heading to?
Well, Nigeria is where God has created it to be. I believe that God created Nigeria to be a land flowing with milk and honey, and that we are not a land flowing with milk and honey. It's not the fault of God, it's the fault of Nigerians. That's where Nigeria is.
Okay. Thank you very much. Baba took Sunday school this morning. I learned Baba is also a spiritual leader. His Excellency did a PhD in theology at the National Open University. Of course, that's a public fact. And I'm sure Baba is doing a lot to also increase his depth in the knowledge of God's word and to teach people. You are a transformational leader. And I know one key difference between a transformational leader and a transactional leader is that he is keen about the next generation. A fact which has made you crisscross Nigeria. Last week you were in Plateau. It was all announced. Another time you were in other parts of Africa. And leadership is at your heart. Building people. Today's political people will think more about general elections. How can we, because there's need for a change of mindset by Nigerians. Somebody said, change begins with me. Do you think we need ethical renaissance? And how do we reorientate the people? So, because when you were leaving government in 1979, you launched Operation Feed the Nation. And you left. But I'm not sure we are in it now. There have been so much mantras about agricultural revolution. Where are we? Still talking about leadership, a leadership that a people would take up the challenge to build themselves, to let us get back to where Nigeria destined us to be. That's the question, sir.
you are harping on the same thing that we have talked better. You rehearse your question. In all human institutions and human organizations, leadership matters. Now, if we understand that, we also must understand, I always say, if you are a man of one form or the other, there is no religion that I know of in the world that does not prescribe form, attributes, characteristics that leadership must have. Even in our own culture and tradition, you look at the background, you look at the track record, you look at the family. They go to that extent, not only in leadership, but even in marriage. Democracy was started in Greek system. Not everybody can have it. Now, I used to say, and I know this, that 50 years ago, if you went to my village, if a government official went to my village and said, look, we have a program, bringing money, and then you would do service and all that. Now, who should we give the money to? Who should be the treasurer? Now, if that government official pick somebody in the village that they know is light-fingered, the village leaders, elders will say, oh, no, not Israel. You want to give the Israel make him the treasurer? No, his farm is always far. It's Okwega. That's the farm that is not near. When we need the money, he may be in the farm. Now give it to Joseph, whose farm is close. Now that is how they handle that. They don't just make anybody, because they know the background. They know the track record. They know the character. And if you take a man of bad character to be your leader, then you will get bad leadership. I look at
Sorry, Your Excellency.
we talk about as leaders. Most of the successful ones are men and women of character. Look at somebody like Samson. Now, God ordained him to be a leader. But look at his character. His character is that he is a woman rapper. And he did not succeed as he should have succeeded. And he was to a large extent a failure because he did not have the character that should be make him a leader that God really wanted him to be. So when we talk again about, yes, leadership, is it a leader born or made? I always believe that leaders are partly born and partly made. Now, if you are born and you are not made, and making requires an effort on your part, then you have yourself to blame. So I believe that today, the sort of thing, the analogy of my village that I gave, today, I said that's 50, 60 years ago, but today, Israel will, at its life in God, will be the treasurer because they will buy everybody up. He will have the money to buy everybody. And we must not forget the place of money in human affairs. I was reading a story the other day of Churchill. Churchill, as prime minister, he took a taxi to BBC to make a recording. And when Churchill was getting out of the taxi, asked the taxi man, will you wait for me so that after my broadcast, I will, you'll take me back? And the taxi man said, no, I have to go home to listen to Churchill. They didn't know it was Churchill, but he was talking to him. But instead of giving the taxi man 5 shillings, he gave the taxi man 20 shillings. The taxi man said to him, I will wait for you. To hell with Churchill. And he broadcast. Now, money has changed the man. That's what money can do to a lot of people. Particularly in the situation where we are, where we have created, where poverty has been created by the leaders themselves. And when you have a situation like that, then you know what money can do. Even though those who are taking the money may know that they are mortgaging their future and the future of their children. But we will then talk about what we have to do. I have always talked of moral rearmament. We have to go back to the beginning. We have to go back. Look, take my own community. Money is not anything you worry about. You worry more about a person's character than about money. And you may even have money and not be respected. Because if the source of your money is doubtful, to hell with your money you will get in the community. That is what we used to know. That was what I learned when I was growing up. Can we go back to that? I believe we can. I believe we can. Now, my first son shocked me once. Before I was arrested and taken to prison, I decided that I would be visiting my children that are in schools abroad one by one and interact with them and bond with them. And I went to my first son who was in Michigan. I said, look, I rent a room in the hotel. We will be there for the weekend. And it's one room because you and I will stay in the bed together. So, and when he met me at the airport, we were talking, and he said, Daddy, I don't share your optimism about Nigeria. I was a bit worried. I said, hey, Shegun, how come you hold this point? He said when he was in the university in Nigeria, he went to APU. He said those who are in level 100 with him, FCC, he established ICPC, and he came home. And he said, well, it appears we may be getting there. And his hope started rising. That within a couple of years after I left government, he himself decided to give back. He went back. And he hasn't been to Nigeria since then. Now, so it is possible for us to make a change. It is how do we achieve that possibility of making a change. And when I talk of moral realignment, we have to go back to family, churches, mosques, schools, communities. When I was in prison, I decided to study because we mingle in the prison with all sorts of boys. Their average age would be 23, 24. And then I wanted to know why criminality. So the title of my interview and trying to research was youth delinquency and criminality. Who is to blame? And I interviewed quite a number of the young men in prison. And I found that everybody is to blame. The family, well, of course, the delinquents themselves, the family, the community, the village, the city area where they come from, the church, the school, the mosque, the state government, the local government, the national government, even the world, because what they get from television, internet, and social media does not help. So when you talk of leadership, it's like the thing we say in Yoruba land. A cripple will tell him or her, your load is bending. He said, look at me from the leg up. Load is bending in leadership because the foundation is wrong. So we have to go and get the foundation right. And it doesn't matter what religion you claim to be, to be your religion in this country. All religions have standard of good character for leadership, principles for leadership. When you say yes, because it's from your tribe, and if it's a man that is characterless, then I wonder whether God will even approve of that. I wonder whether he will teach that in the church or in the mosque. I know that the Babalawos, even Oromila has something he does, the Ejobi, or a particular aspect that character in leadership. So that is the position.
Okay. Thank you very much. It's good that Your Excellency has mentioned money. If I trace it very well, you mentioned money 8 times. Let's go into the issue of corruption. Corruption is one of the, somebody say, higher killers of any nation. I would not name you as one of the corrupt persons. Or let me say that people knew that when you were in power, there has been no Nigerian president, whether as civilian or the military, who has taken the issue of corruption very, very seriously. You establish EFCC, as you have said, in your own era, your own Inspector General of Police from your own tribe, they put handcuff on him. There were ministers who served under your tenure, they went to prison. To me, that is leadership. But we have observed over the years that despite the agencies handling corruption, there are many of them, EFCC, ICPC, so many, corruption continues unending in Nigeria. Somebody even said, if Nigeria doesn't stop corruption, corruption may kill Nigeria. Now, what are the other ways? Maybe the way you did it then, and you did it successfully, maybe, I don't know. What do you think is wrong? You did it successfully during your time. But these days, even corrupt people, they are in hallowed places of government, they are in the judiciary, and nothing has happened. What do you think, Your Excellency?
What more do you want to think? You yourself have said it.
I'm just a moderator.
The best way of fighting corruption is starting from the head. That is where corruption has not to be fought from. I took some 40 young Africans to Singapore when Lee Kuan Yew had handed over, but he was still, I think he called himself senior minister, although without a portfolio. But he was there to make sure things were still going right. And he spent 2 days with us. And the African young leaders that I took there, because I had a leadership forum. And what I used to do is bring leaders from all over the world to address and spend time with these young Africans that I bring together under the auspices of African Leadership Forum. And when I asked Lee Kuan Yew to come, Lee Kuan Yew said, look, my friend, once I go against time, I'm useless for 48 hours. Why don't you bring these African young leaders to Singapore? And I said, I have no money to bring them. He said, we will pay. So he paid for about 40 people. I took them. They took young leaders from Kenya, young leaders from Zambia, Nigeria. And we went. 2 days, he was telling us one thing that we feel was that they had merit. You are appointed on merit, no matter. So merit to merit. Second, you will have, as Lincoln you had, people, irrespective of what you do, they want to smear you and all that. And Lincoln, you told us, whenever that he opened up, just as they had a leader who came up without even understanding what was going on in electricity, said $16 billion was used, and there's no need for it. He was an ignorant leader. And when it was investigated by EFCC, by the National Assembly, they found that it was absolute fake. It was due to the lack of understanding. And that is very important. A leader must be able to understand, not intricacies of science and technology, but you must be able to comprehend and understand the things that go on. So when Lincoln Yu was going to finish with us, the African young leaders were anxious to get the magic. They asked him, what is the magic? Philosophers. And he said, there's no magic. We did a few things right, and we continue to do them right. Then I said to my young African leaders, I said, that's your take away. Go back home. What is your country? What should your country do right that they're not doing right? How can you make them do it right? And how can you make them continue to do them right? And let me give you our own country, Nigeria. I believe we did UP right. Yeah. Education is fundamental. But as soon as I left government, my successor didn't believe that UP should continue. I came back and we did UPE right. We have gone from universal primary education to universal basic education, 9 years instead of 6 years. Some states went to court, and the Supreme Court ruled that federal government has no business in primary education. How can you close the gap when in a place like Anambra, you have 94, 95%, and in a place like Sokoto, you have 20, 25%. How do you close that gap? Unless there is intervention. But that is what we had. And I brought what I call UBUBED. So that was the way we could influence. You won't believe that some states will not go and take money from UBEC, because if you take money from UBEC, federal government has right to scrutinize and inspect how that money was being spent. So corruption uh, you have to be fought from the top. And don't forget that, look, the officials, people so-called the civil servants, they know what you are doing. They know what you are doing. And you cannot cover it from them. And then when you do it, those of them who want to go back, they can join it. But once there should be consequence, there should be consequence for any misbehavior. You talk of owner keeping. You talk of one permanent secretary who he claimed that he was my relation. Now, nobody should be able to get away. And when I always say to people when I was in government that if you want to go into politics and be an honest politician, a politician of integrity, you must have a second address. But those who make politics their profession, their trade, the only thing they do, they will fall for anything, including being deeply involved in corruption. But if you have a second address, you will definitely try to be honest and be a man of integrity. And you talk about transformation and transaction. A transformation leader would not want to grab. What are you grabbing? What for? And then you will also be able to see, look, what needs that you are doing, what purpose will it serve? Now, look at what has happened in Egypt. That is transformation leadership. Look at what is happening in Rwanda. That is transformational leadership. But many other places in Africa, we don't have what I have just mentioned in Egypt and in Rwanda. So leadership and corruption, what can you do? If leadership is not fighting corruption, which is hydra-headed. Corruption is very hydra-headed and it's deep. If I think it was the Sultan of Sokoto, the father of the present Sultan, he said corruption is like rayon labarika. As you are folding it on one side, it's falling apart on the other side. And when you carry it on both sides, you cannot hold your hands up indefinitely. And as soon as you put your hand down, it's falling apart. And that is corruption. It's not a one-day affair. It's not a one-regime affair. It's not even a two-regime affair. It has to be consistent. It has to be continual. It has to be a daily affair. Once one regime let off, it spreads. See, those who are in that business of corruption, they can outweigh one regime. they can bow down for a regime, but then they can also spring up almost as if nothing has happened. So that's what you have.
Thank you, Your Excellency. In fact, I appreciate your depth and the candor. I want to ask, sir, even as a pastor, you must have known that in Nigeria now, urban power syndrome is reigning. I overheard you sometimes, you were saying that you want to live for humanity. That any Christianity that is not attending to the problem of people. Now, look at the way Nigeria is. Let's look at that, the hardship, the suffering that is happening now. Many people believe that it came out of the subsidy withdrawal or removal. How did we get to where we are? Some people are complaining.
It's a good government now. How they get you to where you are? Don't ask me that.
Okay. Okay, sir. Excellency, let's look at the forms of politics that we are practicing, the kind of democracy. Let me move away from where I was going. People have said, well, we did the parliamentary democracy. It didn't work. We went to the American style, presidential. It's not appearing to be working. We have tried the military. The military is also, so is it possible, if you look at it from your lenses, what kind of political system can we just attempt? Maybe we'll come out of the woods.
You are beating about the bush.
I see.
You are beating about the bush. There are one democracy, two constituents, three governance, four leadership. Democracy, as we got it from the West, because that's all they have, what I call West liberal democracy, has not worked for us because the content, the context of that democracy is foreign to us. And even the people that gave it to us, they are complaining. Not too long ago, Britain had a prime minister that was even voted for. And they have seen that in Britain, where the totality of the votes cast for a particular party is less than the party. And call it college. I think electoral college. The Americans call it electoral college. So you may have a majority, like it happened not too long ago. But if the electoral college is not in your favor, your majority is amounts to nothing. The point is this. I believe that in our own system, where are traditional, we have consensus. We sit down, we talk, and then after we have meet everybody. The word position in almost all African languages is enemy. you talk of loyal enemy. But in the Western liberal democracy, which it came from monarchy, so you can be loyal to the monarch, but not loyal, not loyal to the opposition or to the government which you oppose. I believe we need to do a lot of research for ourselves. Democracy, as defined by the American President Lincoln, government of the people, by the people, for the people, all the people. But what do we have today? Government of the few, by the few. Not for the people, against the people. Government of the few, by the few, invariably against the people. Now, that cannot continue. We have to look at, somebody said, what do I call it? I said, look, let us look at it. He said, well, should we call it a full democracy? I said, fair, if you want to call it that way. But the idea of communalism, the idea of consensus must come on the part and parcel of the democracy that we will practice. Then you have constitution. What constitution do we have? What does our constitution do? And what does it bring up? That is another thing. The constitution. Some people now are saying, look, we should look at our constitution again. If in the past we did not want state police, should we consider it? Maybe. I was in Colombia. They scrapped state police, provincial police. But when they had a serious security problem, they look at it again and they have brought them back. Maybe. Then you come, there may be other areas of our constitution that you will need to look at. Then you come to governance. Governance. Some people said, oh yes, we have it's a presidential system that is making the cost of government. Is it presidential system that makes us to have a president will have a retinue of people, vice president ditto, speaker ditto, president of the Senate ditto. We have 4. It's not the presidential system. It is the people who run the presidential system. People who are heartless. If you have parliamentary system, you will have prime minister, you will have deputy prime minister, you will have speaker. If they go the same way, you will not come out of it. So for me, it's not so much the system, it's so much the people. And that's where I come to the 4th, leaders and leadership. The issue, leadership. And if we get leadership right, we will get other things right. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, Your Excellency, I'm just racking my brain so I can manage the next 10 minutes before they throw out of out of here. Well, the conversation has been very robust. I don't know whether His Excellency does not mind that we throw the interactions, the floor open, so that we can have maybe 3 to 4 questions.
Okay, get them on.
Okay.
But we're going to talk on politics.
Okay, that's all right. And we have by just signify by raising of hands, just please make it if possible 45 seconds, and His Excellency can have a great. Okay, thank you. And we have hands raised up.
There are 4 hands I can see here.
Okay.
Open.
Engineers, please put them on.
So there are 6 hands now.
Okay, let's have them one after the other.
Now let's have them quickly.
Thank you, sir. Your Excellency.
6 hands up.
Good evening, sir.
Who are you? Just mention your name so that I know.
Olabiolemi is my name, from Owu Kingdom. Baba, Agbayindale South.
Okay.
Yes. I really appreciate you, sir. I want to ask this question, sir. Looking at the what is going on in the country now, most especially among the youth, sir, what advice can you give us, sir?
It's very difficult. But I will tell you, I have to answer this question that, look, if I am in your position today, will I japa? Will I continue? And I say to you, when I was like them, we have limited facilities, that we had almost unlimited opportunities. Today, you have almost unlimited facilities, but the opportunities you have very, very, very small. So what can we do? I will say there's no time that you will not get the bad time closing and good time coming. Only tough people survive tough. Now, and I mean that. So what can you do? Some people even asked me the other day and said, look, what will I ask them to study? I said, if I were you, young, 20s or teenage or whatever, I will go and study AI, artificial intelligence. Because 10, 15 years from now, most of the vehicles on our road will be driverless. That's AI. Now, most of the things that we are doing now, whether we like it or not, we will have to give them to automation, to AI in one word. So, but then where can we get that? I believe the private sector, more of the private sector, more of our institutions should go for this. And then I will say those of our youth that are out of the country already, prepare yourself for the possibility of coming back. When I was in government as president, a number came back, and some of those who came back remain. But as things started going sour, they went back. And I have given you the example of my own first son. He went back. So what I will say is that a good time will come, and be prepared when good time comes to take advantage of it.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. We cannot but talk about your legacies. I'm going to come to that question. You built power infrastructure during your regime, and I want to combine it with our very concerning huge profile. Your tenure, your government cleared all the debts that we have. Does this not portend great danger, Your Excellency?
That we clear the debt.
You clear the debts. Yes.
And what danger does clearing the debt?
No. But after we have cleared the debts, most now that we now have very huge mountain
Of partly yours, problem of your children and problem of their children.
Okay.
Are you taking questions now?
Next question, please.
Thank you. Yeah, my name is Safiz Olua. I'm calling from UK.
Please make it very fast.
Yeah, I would like to appreciate the Excellency. And I would like to appreciate you for the encouragement you've given those of us that are overseas to prepare to come back. That is the fatherly advice. I appreciate that greatly. I would like to add, I'm not trying to overpraise you, but I think your reign as a military and as a president actually had a lot of pluses for Nigerian and for Nigeria as a whole. What I would like to say here is that why don't the subsequent president build upon what a past president have done? Because you see them starting all over again, and it is like it's dragging us back to a point where you've covered, or they rather relegate what you've done that is working and make it ineffective. How can we go around a continuity in Nigeria to build that nation?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, well, Faith, you are absolutely right there. I have said, even when I was living, we had prepared needs and seeds. This is a program of development and all that. And my successor was part of it in the same party. And we handed it over. All the people who were part of it, the governor of Central Bank and all that. But I was told that as soon as I left, some people went to him and said, if you will continue on Obasanjo's program, nobody will hear anything about you. Dump Obasanjo's program and then start your own. And without any thought, he just woke up one day, he talked of 7-point program. And it's number 2. I asked, what is 7-point program? He said, he doesn't know. Now, that is the sort of thing that you have. You cannot force any president on what to do. Unless, of course, you can now, as part of our constitutional amendment, that we should have program that will be consensus program. And then you come to what I talk about, democracy. And that consensus program cannot be changed, except you go through consensus again. Now, maybe people can look into that. It is a possibility. But there's nothing we have in our constitution now that binds a president doing the thing. He can wake up tomorrow and say, look, he wants to build a balloon that will hold his government house off the ground, and it will be a balloon that will hold it. If that's what he wants to do, there's not much you can do about it. So, as I've said, wherever we can amend the constitution, that will help. Maybe we should do.
Okay. Thank you, Your Excellency. Next question. very quickly. Okay.
Okay, good evening, Your Excellency, sir. My name is James Chamberlain Omeni. I would like to ask.
Please, can you be louder?
James, go ahead.
Okay. Your Excellency, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm just a young Nigerian, and it's been so insightful from
I'm not hearing you well. I'm not hearing you well.
Can you increase the volume, please?
learn more from wealth.
Can you be more audible?
I'm not hearing. Anybody who hears him well can tell me what he is saying. But I'm not hearing you.
We're not hearing. Are you hearing?
Like a bit more audible.
Your Excellency, sir, can you hear me, sir?
Be more audible.
James, is that you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
I'm hearing you now.
Okay. Good evening, Your Excellency, sir.
Good evening.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. As a young Nigerian, I'm super excited to have you on this call. Please, sir, so for someone like me who would want to learn more from your wealth of experience and knowledge, how can we be part of your leadership school or institution?
James, let me say 3 ways to do that. One, you can read my book. That's it in the books. That's number 1. Number 2, you can interact with those who have worked with me. Many of them have a lot to say, maybe good, maybe bad. And I will say this about learning. Even if you learn the way not to do a thing, you're still learning. And it's important. Number 3, well, I've talked about Africa Leadership Forum. That I established in 1986 is still existing. One Dr. Ajayi is running it now. And we have just founded what I call Olusegun Obasanjo Leadership Institute. That will be degree awarding, certificate awarding institution. And you may ask more about that. And then of course, opportunities like this, you can take me on. I'm not afraid of saying what I should say, except that when I say I'm not talking about political this time, I've just had a meeting in Yale, where I was not able to be present, but I give them my recorded message. I think that's good enough for now. I don't want to.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. I think we have had it good for 2 hours. Baba, I do not take it for granted. I am grateful. I thank you for this wonderful opportunity. But I'm sure KBSC, who is the chair of this session, will thank you more than I can ever. I want to apologize to people who have not been able to, we cannot do it with a figure like Baba on the podium, except we are going to do 3-4 hours. But let me quickly signal to KBSC. We open the session, and I think it is right to close this session. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Yochi, for this exciting session. We truly appreciate time, your insight, explaining a lot of things to us. I particularly have learned a few more things about you, which I didn't know before, which I think is also very useful for me personally. Let me apologize to those of our participants who have tried to ask questions. I can see still a number of hands up. that we could not take. I mean, you can appreciate the fact that it's, we do not have sufficient time to answer all the questions. And there are a lot of questions on the chat box as well, which are probably we have not been able to. But I think some of them have been addressed as part of His Excellency's earlier responses and remarks as well. This event this evening. Thank you very much for making it such a robust session. Something that we all learned from. Now, also want to again thank all our supporters, the broadcast stations who have supported us throughout the session. I look forward to another exciting session next month, God willing. And again, thank you very much and enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you so much. Okay. We're losing signal there.
Look, those who have questions that are really burning in their mind, if they find a way of sending the question to me,
okay,
them answer getting.
Okay, thank you very much for that indulgence. On that note, let me ask, let me give out my WhatsApp number and you can send it to me. You can just take it down. 080 332 110 22. I'll take it again. 080 332 110 22. Thank you very much. Let me thank my training here. Titilayo is good. Let's hear your voice at last.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ayo Arojoli. Thank you, Your Excellency. I would just like to ask a question, just one last question, sir. How do you envision Nigerians' future, and what role do you think individuals? Oh. All right, sir.
Yeah.
What?
So it's about Nigeria future. It will be great.
All right, sir.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Can I ask this before Baba will leave? This is the first time that I know that His Excellency will sit down like this in a party with the media. And I hope we can have a part of that. Baba, Your Excellency.
Yeah, well, try your help. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Baba.
Thank you so much, sir.
Amarida. Yes, sir. I thank KBC. I thank everyone. Let me use this. Let me use this medium to thank the people who made the media convergence to work very well. Then Television London, I want to thank you. I appreciate you. Eagle 7 Radio 103.7 FM, Dr. Shagun Udebami, my salute for you. Thank you. I'm also thanking the owners of Wash FM. You know yourself, all of you. Thank you very much for this cozy, wonderful studio. I'm also expressing thanks to Senator Olugbenga Obadara of Suite 107.1 FM. You've been there. The Boiling Point Arena is there for a long haul, and it will be there for every second Sunday. Just have it diarized. Next month will be our 27th edition. Only God knows who we will bring next, but we will not lower the bar. Thank you. That's the size of our package. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you to all people who said they are proudly associated with us. No more free time. No, there's no free meal in Moravia again. No, in Freetown. It is time to also see possibilities of some messages we can also bring it on. Contact boiling point inquiries through that phone number. Well, that's the size of our package. Thank you very much. God bless you. That has been Boiling Point Arena.